Hey team, so good morning to all of you, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Today's video is 20 miles a week enough for marathon training? I think for most athletes that are trying to start and finish a marathon and get stronger and get more fit and get in better aerobic and anaerobic shape, 20 miles a week is a decent amount of mileage for most athletes. But with the faster you're trying to run this event, the more competitive you get, you do have to start focusing also on volume because this is a marathon. It's not a 5K or 10K. I think 20 miles to 30 miles a week is optimal for most athletes, especially that are training for, say, the 5K to 10K events. Because again, they're shorter events. They don't require such long runs. These longer tempo runs that I talk about for athletes that are training for the marathon, definitely 20 miles a week for training for a marathon. I don't think for those athletes that are really trying to run the event at optimal levels, I still think that 20 miles a week is far too light, because again, it's a 26.2 mile race, and again, you still can get in decent shape and get some speed workouts in, can still run some tempo events or still run some tempo runs, running 20 miles a week training for your marathon. But again, I think optimal mileage is a minimum of around 45 out to optimally and preferably anywhere from 70 to 90 miles a week. I know some world-class athletes that will go 100 miles plus per week. I got up to 142 miles a week training for the marathon, but also keep in mind, I ran my personal best for the marathon on 85 to 90 miles a week. So again, focus on quality versus quantity. Okay, so there are some examples out there of athletes that are still getting some really impressive new personal best on lower mileage. Okay, so again, look at your training volume, look at your training plan, and look at what percentage of my weekly mileage am I running at or below my goal marathon race pace. If that percentage is too low, if you're running too much aerobic mileage per week, you can definitely see the reasoning behind you not being able to sustain that goal marathon race pace that you've been aiming for. Okay, you have to put in the volume, but you also have to make sure that you're not running too aerobically too often during the week. Okay, it's just going to make you a superior long slow distance runner. Okay, when it comes to the marathon, you have to make sure you're stressing the energy systems. You have to make sure that you're teaching the body to clear lactic acid faster than it's building up. If you do not do that, you're just burning fat and building endurance, which is it's still a positive aspect of running 20 miles a week, training for your marathon. But again, you have to make sure that you produce that training stimuli. Okay, again, you have to have enough volume in place, that you've built enough endurance and strength and stamina, but you have to make sure that you're also spending a high enough percentage of your weekly volume running much faster or near your goal marathon race pace. Okay, the major problem for most runners, especially that are training for the marathon, is pace sustainment. Also, they're not drinking enough in the race. They're not taking enough fluid. They're not taking enough calories. So if in the past you can consciously say, okay, I know I've not been drinking enough in the marathon event. Maybe I only take one gel, or am I taking any gels in the race? Have I really paid attention to that? Okay, keep in mind, when you ingest one of those gels, that's anywhere from around 100 to 200 calories that immediately goes into your bloodstream when you ingest that. Okay, so my recommendation is to start ingesting anywhere from 3 to 5 of those gels in your marathon. Okay, and start practicing taking in, drop your water bottles out every 3 miles or every 5 kilometers along your long run route in training, and practice drinking rather than just sipping in your races. Okay, you can be the most well-prepared athlete physically and mentally for the marathon event, but if you go out and you try to race a marathon at all out effort and you're not taking in enough fluid and enough nutrition, enough calories in a race of that distance, and also when we talk about volume, if you're not running enough mileage, You're not properly doing everything that a world-class athlete would do, okay? Because world-class athletes, professional athletes, um, these types of athletes are paying attention to all of the fundamentals of race preparation, okay? So you can have a lot of motivation and drive to get this event right, but if you're not looking at all the other angles of your preparation, I don't care if you're training for a 5K, a 3K on the track, an 800 meter on the track. Top level athletes look at all of the fundamentals, okay? They're looking what is every single little aspect of my preparation. What do the best athletes do? What do they do that I have not been doing? So my recommendation is to take a look at your past training, look at the mistakes you've made, and try to correct and amend these things that you've been doing in the past. Is it improper pacing in the race? Have you been running consistently 10 to 15 miles a week, training for your marathons? Again, you're going to build some fitness from that. Is 20 miles a week enough for marathon training? For most athletes, again, you can get some legitimate results by running 20 miles a week consistently over a 4 to 6 month block of training. Okay, a lot of times athletes are making the mistake of trying to cram all of their training in a matter of 4 to 8 weeks, or maybe 8 to 12 weeks for a marathon. Yes, you can still get some legitimate results in that short of a buildup, a month to 3 months. 1 month is definitely too short. 2 months is, again, a decent amount of time, but my recommendation to optimally prepare for a race of this distance is a minimum of 16 weeks, preferably 20 to 24 weeks in length. Okay, I have training plans that range anywhere from 8 weeks to 24 weeks, going out to 6 months on RunDreamAchieve.com. I also have courses for athletes that are trying to break the 2:30 marathon barrier, the 3-hour marathon barrier, 4-hour marathon barrier, and 5-hour marathon barrier on RunDreamAchieve.com. So if those are types of times that you're aiming for, definitely check out those courses. I go in depth, and as well as the courses also conclude with a 4-month, 16-week block of training that will walk you through each specific workout that you need to be doing in order to set a new personal best over the marathon distance. But my recommendation in this, trying to answer this question, is 20 miles a week enough for marathon training? I don't think for most athletes that are trying to run at very high levels, okay, that 20 miles a week is enough. I think, again, minimum of around 40 to 45 miles a week, but for those athletes that are really trying to jump and drop significant time off their marathon best, I think you need to be thinking of a minimum of around 50 miles a week, preferably up to around 80 to 90 miles a week, to start seeing some really big jumps in your ability level and significant drops in your current personal best for the marathon distance. Focus on a 10-day taper rather than dropping your volume and intensity 3 weeks out from your goal marathon race. Okay, I've seen so many athletes. I've set all of my personal best using a 10-day taper. 10 days of time is plenty of time for your body to really heal itself, start resting, and you going into that race feeling 100% rested and prepared to run your fastest marathon time, versus dropping your intensity and volume too far out from your main marathon race and to go into your race feeling tired and not really fully rested. Okay, that's what I definitely don't want for you. Feel free to read the testimonial page on RunDreamAchieve.com. You'll see a lot of what athletes are saying about this different style of training, and a lot of the strategies and tactics that they're using that I teach. One of the biggest, I definitely recommend to start running your long runs at faster paces, not the entire distance of your long run, but start varying up the paces of your long run and alternate a faster, varied pace long run one weekend, followed the next weekend by an easy, relaxed long run. Okay, adaptation is key. You're not going to adapt to hard, fast anaerobic workouts if you keep pushing the body hard. So your real benefits from your hard training is going to occur in the rest after your workout's complete. It's those hours, it's what you're doing the other hours of your day that's going to dictate how successful you're going to become in this event. Okay, are you getting plenty of sleep? Are you taking enough fluid? Are you hydrating well before, during, and after your workouts? How much time are you spending on past bad results? If you had a few bad races in the past, or poor workouts. Don't dwell on that so much, okay? You can't change anything about what went wrong in the past. You can only focus on what you can do in the future to minimize those mistakes that you've made in training and in your races. So focus on what you can control, okay? If there's bad weather out there, just remind yourself that all of your competitors are going to have to compete in it as well. So let them stress out about it. Don't you yourself stress out about if it's windy or if it's raining. Focus on letting your competitors stress out and worry about those things. Okay, stay as relaxed as you can in the race, and in training, practice relaxation. Always remember, less stress in the body, less tension, better the performance. So I hope this video makes sense. And definitely feel free to reach out to me. Leave me a comment below any of my videos. I would definitely respond to you all. I definitely love hearing from you and how your racing and your training's going, what your goals are. Feel free to share these videos, like the videos. I definitely appreciate that. It helps the channel grow and more athletes around the world to see these videos. And if you're new to the channel, hit that bell icon and the subscribe button so when I make new videos, you'll be notified of it. And I will talk to you all in the next one.